Hello everyone, I welcome you all back to my YouTube channel. If today is your first time of coming across my video, please support me by subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you can always be the first to get notified anytime I drop a new video. Let's go into the part 2 of this story. Obinna sat on the balcony of his modest apartment, sipping a cup of tea as the sun began to set over Lagos. It had been exactly 1 year since he decided to disappear from the social spotlight, presenting himself as a man who had lost everything. The past year had revealed more to him about the people in his life than all his years of wealth combined. Now, he was ready to take the final step in his plan. He would organize an event, a grand one, to reveal the truth and confront everyone who had abandoned him during his time of downfall. The idea for the event had come to him weeks earlier, during a quiet conversation with Mama Ngozi, his trusted neighbor and the only person who had encouraged him during the moment of betrayal. Sitting across from him in his study, Mama Ngozi had listened carefully as he explained his vision. It won't just be a party, Obinna had said. It will be a reckoning. I want everyone there. Friends, business partners, everybody who disappeared when I needed them the most. I want them to be present at the event. Mama Ngozi had nodded thoughtfully. If that's what you want, we will make it happen. But it has to be very perfect, grand enough to match your status. Over the next few weeks, Obinna poured himself into the planning. He rented a luxurious event hall in Victoria Island, one of Lagos' most prestigious locations. He hired the best event planner in the city, a woman named Ifeoma, who was known for creating unforgettable experiences. When Ifeoma asked about the theme of the event, Obinna told her, "Elegance and revelation. I want it to look like a celebration, but the atmosphere should also hold an air of mystery." Ifeoma had raised an eyebrow. "You are planning to make a statement, I see." "More than a statement," Obinna replied. "I am planning to change how people see me and how they see themselves." The preparations were carefully made. Obinna insisted on handling the guest list personally. He wanted everyone who had been part of his life during his rise to success to be there, especially those who had abandoned him when the rumors of his financial collapse began to spread. Tunde, Sule, Shike, and others like them would receive their invitations alongside genuine friends who had shown concern during Obinna's supposed struggles. The week leading up to the event was a whirlwind of activity. Mama Ngozi coordinated with caterers, decorators, and security teams, ensuring that everything was in place. Obinna spent hours reviewing every detail, from the seating arrangements to the menu. He wanted to make sure that everyone who attended would be comfortable right before they were hit with the truth. On the day before the event, Obinna held a final meeting with the event team. Ifeoma presented the layout of the hall, which included a grand stage at the front, where Obinna would deliver his speech. The walls would be adorned with elegant decorations, and the lighting would be warm and inviting. It is exactly what I envisioned, Obinna said, nodding his head in approval. Mama Ngozi pulled him aside after the meeting. "Are you sure you are ready for this?" she asked, her tone laced with concern. "Once you reveal the truth, there is no going back." Obinna smiled faintly. "I've been ready for this for months. Mama Ngozi, I need to do this for myself and for the few persons who truly care about me." On the morning of the event, Obinna woke up feeling a mix of anticipation and nervous energy. He went for a run around his modest community to clear his mind, then spent the rest of the day preparing. His tailor had delivered a custom-made navy blue suit earlier in the week, and as he tried it on, he felt a surge of confidence. This was the moment he had been waiting for. By late afternoon, the event hall was a hive of activities. The decorators were putting the finishing touches on the stage. The caterers were setting up the buffet tables, and the sound technicians were testing the microphone. Mama Ngozi supervised everything, making sure that the team followed the instructions carefully. Everything must be flawless, she reminded them again. Obinna arrived at the hall an hour before the event was scheduled to start. As he walked through the space, he felt a sense of pride. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. By 7 p.m., the hall was buzzing with activity. Guests began to arrive, dressed in their finest clothes. The photographers stood at the entrance of the hall, snapped pictures of the attendees as they walked into the hall. Obinna stood near the entrance, greeting each guest personally. He watched as familiar faces filled in, some smiling warmly, others wearing forced grins. Tunde arrived with his wife, his loud laughter echoing through the hall. "Obinna, my man," he shouted, pulling him into a hug. "You've been hiding from us. I'm so happy to see that you are back on your feet." Sule was next, his glittering suit drawing attention as he approached Obinna. "My brother, you look amazing," he said, leaning in to shake his hands. "I've missed you so much." Obinna responded politely, though his mind was already racing with thoughts of the revelations he would soon share. He noticed Chike standing in a corner, avoiding his gaze. Obinna had expected as much. Chike's guilt was obvious. The event officially began at 8 p.m. with a short introduction from the MC. The guests were seated, and the atmosphere was filled with anticipation. Obinna stood backstage, watching the scene unfold. Mama Ngozi joined him, sitting next to him while reassuring him. "It is time," she said softly. Obinna nodded and stepped onto the stage. The spotlight followed him as he approached the microphone, and the room fell silent. Taking a deep breath, he began to speak. "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Tonight, I have a story to tell. A story about loyalty, betrayal, and self-discovery. It is a story that involves everybody in this room." There was a light applause, and some people smiled brightly, eager to hear what he had to say. "I know many of you have been wondering about me," he continued. "You've heard stories about me, stories about how I lost everything and fell into hard times. Tonight, I want to share the truth with you." The room went silent for some seconds. Everyone was paying close attention, curious about what he was going to say next. "For the past year, I have been living a lie," Obinna said. "I wasn't broke. I wasn't struggling. I pretended to be." Gasps filled the room. People looked at each other, their faces full of confusion and surprise. "Yes, you heard me right," Obinna said. "I pretended to be broke. I wanted to see who among you would still be there for me if I had nothing to offer. I wanted to know who my real friends were." The shock in the room was obvious. People began to whisper, their voices low but frantic. Obinna let the silence stretch for a moment, watching their reactions. "I am sure you are all wondering why I did this," he continued. "The answer is simple. I needed to see the truth, and what I saw was disappointing. Most of you disappeared. You didn't call. You didn't visit me. You didn't even show any sign of care. The people I thought were my closest friends left me when they knew I had nothing." He scanned the room, his eyes meeting those of the people who had betrayed him. Some of them looked down, unable to meet his gaze. Others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "I realized something important," Obinna said. "You didn't care about me. You only cared about my money. You cared about the things I do for you. But when you thought I had nothing, you left. You showed me your true selves." The room was completely silent. No one dared to speak. Obinna took a deep breath and continued. "Tonight, I invited you all here to let you know that I am done. I am done with fake friends. I am done with people who only see me as a source of money or favors. This will be the last time I stand in the same room with most of you." He paused, letting his words sink in. The guilt on their faces was clear. Some of them opened their mouths as if to speak, but no words came out. "I have learned who my real friends are," Obinna said, his voice firm. "And sadly, most of you are not on that list." With that, he stepped down from the stage and walked out of the room. The sound of his footstep echoed in the silence. The guests were left staring at each other, stunned and ashamed. In the days that followed, Obinna's phone rang non-stop. Shike, Tunde, Sule, and others tried to call him, leaving messages filled with apologies and excuses. Some even showed up at his house, begging for a second chance. But Obinna ignored them all. He had made his decision. He was done with them. There was only one person he welcomed into his life, Mama Ngozi. She had been the only one who stood by him during his broke phase. She had called to check on him, visited him without even asking for anything, and treated him with kindness and respect. Obinna found peace in Mama Ngozi's companionship. Unlike the others, she had never cared about his money. She cared about him as a person. As time went by, their bond grew stronger, and Obinna realized that she was the kind of person he needed in his life. Obinna also found new purpose in helping others. He started a foundation to support young entrepreneurs and struggling families. He wanted to use his wealth to make a real difference in people's lives. This work brought him more joy than any business deal he ever had. As the months went by, Obinna rebuilt his life. He became even more successful. But this time, his happiness didn't come from his riches or wealth. It came from knowing he was surrounded by genuine people and making a positive impact on the world. Obinna had learned an important lesson. True wealth is not about money or possessions. It's about having people who truly care about you and living a life filled with purpose. Looking back, Obinna realized that his year of pretending to be broke had been the most important period of his life. For the first time in a long time, Obinna felt free. He had let go of fake friends and empty relationships, and he was finally living a life that was true to who he was. We finally come to the end of the story, guys. If you find this story interesting, please support me by subscribing to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you can always get notified anytime I drop new interesting stories like this. Thank you and see you next time.